My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama. The name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. The Illuminati, the global government, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, the Kennedy clan, JFK was part of it. His father was appointed ambassador to England 36 till they kicked him out in 46. They were the ones that kidnapped me. I was born in 39. And my father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. He was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe. My mom was actually queen then, and my father would not go along with the Illuminati and follow their orders. He was king of England, king of Great Britain, and he's a good guy, had integrity. Well, my uncle George the Illegal Six, the Illuminati put in after they took down my father with character assassination. Total lies. He never married Wallace Simpson. A double did. I've said all this, and I want to put this up. I have been putting up here about being here in Roanoke, and I was in a political campaign for U.S. Congress in '83 when I found out about my kidnapping a little later. And it all made sense, and I could remember a lot after I found out. Anyway, I put all that up. I'm allergic to have an autoimmune disorder. I'm allergic to chemicals, and when I'm in close quarters, and I have tried to leave Roanoke. People will say, why didn't you this or why didn't you that? I've done all of it. That's the reason I went to YouTube and Facebook with all this. Uh, Also, I was writing a book about mind control murders and Larry Flynt when he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was living in Marietta doing the book, and it involved doctors and programming people, and the devs of Warren and Rosina Matthews were pathologists, forensic at the hospital at Piedmont, where Larry McDonald was urologist and became U.S. congressman. So they were murdered with mind control. Even they knew too much. They knew what I didn't tell them. That I knew they were murdered. It's how you make deaths appear of natural cause, the Tesla files. You can program people to do anything. That's a total lie when they tell you they can't. They do it without your awareness, and I put all this up. And they can do masks now. And the things that's going on, the ones they put up are on the Illuminati controlled media are the done in patterns. The ones I tell about. There's a lot that happened that I wouldn't connect in any way that you don't hear about. But anyway, I don't want to lose track here. I just told about the YouTube, and I know nobody can tell me indifference. I'm going to add a couple of things. I don't need them. The Carl is the placement locale, too. I lived at Baymont Inn for a good while, and up until a couple of weeks ago. And so you've got just part of it named Bay, and I think it's Bay Hill that's right there at YouTube. But it's the fact I've been putting all this up, too, and for so long, and on Facebook. And the Carl's Jr., they're using the Carl, the twin, to Peggy. The twins were killed, and Peggy killed a week to 2 weeks before I was put there in 41, and they gave me her name. The twins were born out of wedlock, and their mother killed them, and the family covered it up. They were horrible. So you can imagine the life I went through. Anyway, what I wanted to say here was after I was out in Mr. Flint's, he furnished me a car for a year, but I had no money and my jobs were blocked. Well, they were kind of blocked or before then, so Mr. Flint didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, as far as I know, he was good. He tried to help me, and I want to reiterate this. Well, no, let me just get to this. I came to Roanoke to get off the street. I actually lived up on the off the side of the road. Let me put it that way. I was cut off from anybody. Nobody would help. They're afraid of it or they don't care. Now, before this goes off, I just want to tell this. I've lived on the Appalachian Trail. I've frozen. I've starved. And when I left the Baymont, the same thing was going on there. This is these motels and hotels. A lot of them are owned by the Patels and Sonny Shaw, and they're from India. And I mean, I have been run. I would pay, and I've tried to leave. The same thing happened with HUD, so I can tell you how it's done. I had 2 apartments under HUD. That's federal, so federal laws were violated. One of the places couldn't open up over in Bedford County. It was new. It was owned by a Reverend out of Washington, North Carolina, Reverend Mower. And they stopped his money from coming in. I don't know how they put a hold on it, but they did. That's what they told me till I moved in there, and I was soaked. Yeah, I mean, you can't believe the maintenance guy. I mean, he was likable, but I went through hell there. He came in the last few months. He was a Navy SEAL. They wrote that up in. So you get what's happened to me. Some good Americans have tried to help, but most of all, part of my own family in Winston Churchill, all because my dad had integrity. And I mean, it's been so many crimes committed, but my illness, I'm allergic to chemicals, it is a handicap. And it's horrible. It affects my thinking. Like if I'm put in a room and made to sit there, like I worked for doctors. Now they moved into a new building. It was a high-rise kind of thing, and they didn't finish it for a year, and I worked through that, well, a little over a year. I worked in it, and I didn't know that I was allergic to chemicals, had an immune disorder. And the doctors had to have known that I worked for, or my other doctors in the past, but that wasn't told me. Is your environment killing you? There was a book that somebody gave me after I was diagnosed, and it made so much sense. The inflammation that's triggered by toxic fumes causes mass inflammation, your kidneys, your spine, your back. And right now, I have been so soaked since I came here and could get a place. I didn't keep it long. I'd be so sick I have to leave. That's the same thing's happening here. And people will look at it, and I'm going to stop right here. This has gone on, and I would report it. I used to pay, when I had the money, pay for a month, and I got run out by fumes, etc., either tarring, paving, coming in and doing remodeling, which you're not supposed to do, the glue and the stuff associated with that. I'm not going to go any further. I have asked them, I've complained, I've told them, and been run. I pay a month and have to leave after the third or fourth day, and my money wouldn't be given back to me. I can't get an attorney in all this. It's too high profile. So before I go any further, and this goes out. When I left Baymont, they were tarring some there. So I'm not going to go any further about that. I came back over to Super 8, and it cost me money, and I don't have it. And I'd stayed there a few times over the last years, just briefly. And God knows I paid with Wyndham Rewards, which is money to me. And then I paid for a week, and I couldn't stay. So I ended up coming across the street here to Motel 6 that's owned by the Patels. I came in, and God knows if anybody's ever followed me with a camera and what it's doing to me, it's killing me, my lungs. I can't walk. I could at least walk when I left Baymont Inn. I am so sick. I don't know. I know that this has been orchestrated. And I know that I was told, and it's true, I know that it's done this way. They already have the room fixed, specific rooms they're going to allow me to have. And then if I get so sick, like at the Baymont Inn, they'll run me from one room to the other and back again till I leave. Well, I came here, and I've been in the Patel's places over the years, and the same things happen. Pay them a month and get run off in a. You can't believe what's been done. The toxic fumes make me so sick. and are killing my organs, inflammation, liver, kidneys, all of it. Uh, when I came here, this is Motel 6 across the street from Super 8, and I'm fixing to leave here now. I mean, I am in bad shape. You can tell by looking at me how my face and everything. I can't walk, and my lungs like a knife cut in me. And I'm going to say this: the lady that I paid when I came in, the host there at the desk, she's been real nice the brief times I've seen her. I was so sick when I came in. There was a loud noise in the air conditioning next to me, the room, and nobody stayed in there that I can see. Nobody at all. It's made this huge noise that you can hear in here. Odd, the air conditioning and water pouring out of it. Now then, the other night, I woke up and my air conditioning was doing it. But the minute I walked in here, I started getting sick. And it's Easter, so I didn't even ask to be. I can't keep going from room to room and then leave because I'm so sick. And I'm going to quote Carl Barton, a retired Virginia State Trooper, and his wife, Linda. And I put this up a lot. This is how they run you, or we run you, is what he said, by chemicals. I can tell it all, and I have been, and nobody does anything. I can't get an attorney. I'm just about dead. But anyway, back to here. I'm leaving this morning after paying $340 something a week, and I don't have that. And then $340 over at the other place before I came here. And I've got to try to get a few belongings together and get out and get a cab and pay a cab fare back to a place to stay till it's so bad. And I'm so sick right now I can't go on anymore. But here's what's happening. I could have gone up and complained. It's almost a slap in the face, though. But the lady was there, and the other man, he's from India, that night clerk, I guess. And she asked me how my night was, and I told her it wasn't very good. So she started questioning me, but I'd already thought of this because I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. I always tell that I'm allergic to chemicals. They all know it. It's a joke. It is a friggin' joke. Nobody's going to touch it. They're afraid of losing their jobs. It goes so high profile. Anyway, she said, well, you should have told us and we would fix it. Well, I knew that was coming. Now then it would be said that, well, she didn't tell us. Well, I did. I complained, if you call it complaining, to this night man when it came on so bad and knocking, and the fumes were so I couldn't stand it. And then the maintenance guy wasn't there the next day. So anyway, what are they going to do? Run me to another room? So I'm leaving today. I'm so sick I'd rather sleep in the cold. But that's what's going on until you can get people before a court of law. As it is, I've lost anyway. I'm 79 years old. All that's been done to me, you can't repay. It's so horrible. And the fact that this country says it's land of the free and home of the brave. So even though the woman said, well, I told her, well, I'm leaving. She asked about the night, how the night was, and I said, well, I'm leaving, and it wasn't good. So I knew it was coming, though. Then they'll say, well, you should have told us. Well, I've told them. I've stayed here in the past. I have told they own quite a few motels, and the Shaws do. I put it up on video, and man, as a last resort, and they get mad at that. I'm talking about in the past, the doctors and all that's been done to me, the family where they put me. When I found out about it, they didn't know about being kidnapped till I started putting it up on YouTube and Facebook. You talk about getting mad rather than saying, we know you lived in hell, the filth, and I'm not going to say all that went on there. It's hideous. And giving me another name and killing the twins, because Lina, their mother, would have faced the death penalty or gas chamber in Alabama back then. So I want to mention this. She was with George Wallace who was the governor of Alabama, who I like, by the way. He did not invite her into his campaign. She pushed her way in. She was at Laurel, Maryland when he was shot, and he was paralyzed. That was a mind control shooting. The guy went to prison for it. I mean, all this can't be a coincidence. It's done in patterns. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just about dead now. My lungs, I feel like I've had a knife gutted in me. And my spine, I can hardly get up. I can hardly walk and pull my things yet to another motel. And how much of money I don't have, I can't even buy clothes, went the last 2 weeks running from one place to the other. And then they start jiving me when they stand there and know. I left there, the other place, I'm almost afraid to say it because I've got to go back there now. I didn't tell all the other that was done there. I put it up on YouTube. My ear ruptured and was, I lost the hearing in it. Had to go to the doctor, hoping I got my hearing back. I did a test and I'd lost quite a bit of it. And then I was bitten by a bug. It's bug bites that got really bad. And I had to go back and get antibiotics for that. So it's not just that, it's what it's doing to the inside of my body. Until someone's put up before a court of law and has to pay, because this is a conspiracy. It's assault with a deadly weapon to me. It's all kinds of laws that are broken. And I want to get back to this, the girl, and they've still got their jobs. I'm just going to mention one of them. She works for HUD. That's federal offense over in Bedford. And they block the money coming in. And that's to finish up the units until they got me there and did to me about 7 months of hell I went through. You had the media on it was the Bulletin or something in Bedford. You know, one of their people wouldn't even come in the door. She could smell it, and she was afraid of it, and I'm having to live there. And then for people to come and say, and this lady was nice, but she's saying what I knew. If I didn't go in and complain, and then I'm dismissed anyway with it all, nobody fixes it. You have to stop what they're doing to me. How many people should be locked up in all this? It goes back to when I was kidnapped and brought over here. And I was told at Edinburgh, that's HUD, and the girl still got her job. She said in front of somebody else, I took over there, I thought was a witness, that her son was, she was told that he would be hurt if she didn't go along with it. He was a baby then. But this is later. I went back and reapplied. And here's what they do, and this is behind closed doors till you get them up there. She said, well, we'll try to, she called me over there. Well, I had applied again to have a roof over my head. And I'm rambling, so I'm going to get through. Chemicals was used the reason I left in the first place when I got it. And, horrible. And a woman lived across the hall. She ended up with my apartment and my things. She said her husband was a psychiatrist, her ex-husband, in Seattle. He's Jewish. She said I was paying for the crimes my family had committed. Well, the Illuminati took out my father because he's a good guy. They put in Elizabeth, George VI, my uncle, my father's brother, who's illegal. So why did they pick me out, a baby? Why did they install Elizabeth? Why didn't they use chemicals on her and George? And if that's your